I know you come from a house full of women. Tell me about your family. I think you have your wife Jamie.
Yes, my
and
wife Jamie.
4 daughters.
I have 4 daughters. I have an 8-year-old, Ana Lourdes. She's named after her grandmothers, Annie and my mom, Lourdes. And then my second daughter is 5 years old, and her name is Naima. And then I have a pair of 19-month-old twins.
Identical?
They are fraternal, but they look really alike. The only way we know they're fraternal is because they were in separate sacs in the womb, right? Without getting into too much detail. But yeah, so they're fraternal and they're 19 months. So yes, I'm I'm the alpha male in the house.
Are we gonna try for a son to pass on the Cook legacy?
No,
the Emperor Cook legacy.
No, that third pregnancy was our try for a boy, and
you got 2 girls.
I got 2 girls, so I'm reading the signs, and the signs say stop now. You know, I've already got an LPGA foursome. I don't need a Olympic women's 6-man volleyball team. You know. So.
You know, I always want to ask parents this question. You know, how has being a parent changed you, especially 4 daughters?
Well, being a parent changed. The first one is always the change. You know, the real big shocker, right? The first kid that's where life really changes. That's where you can't just pick up and go and do things. You know, like when you're single or when you're married without kids. I mean, you really take, now looking back, it's like you really take for granted the freedom that you have, right? To just be able to do things, to be able to go where you want, when you want. You don't gotta arrange things. So I mean, that's the one way, right? That's the way everyone fears about having kids. But there's so much more warmth in your life when you have kids. I think, you know, there's so much, like your kids, you know, coming home and them running up to you and
like literal warmth from their hugs.
Yeah, literal and figurative warmth. I mean, and you can't get mad at. I mean, yeah, you get mad at your kids, but you can never really. At least I can't, right? My girls. I mean, they just do something that's the craziest thing that you just get so upset about, and then next minute they look up at you and you know, I love you, Daddy, and hug you. Like, okay, you know, everything.
I forgive you.
But I mean, that there's a feeling there that you really don't. I don't think you really understand until you're a parent. And I know your parent, my parents, or my mom at least, always tells, you know, they always say, you understand when you have your own kids, you know, and like, and it's so true. I mean, you really can't describe it. It's one of those things you just have to feel for yourself, and it's great. I mean, I wouldn't, as crazy and hectic and time consuming it is and expensive, I wouldn't go back to...
I think girls are more expensive than boys.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't go back to, you know, I wouldn't change it at all. I mean, it's great. And we always just tell each other, don't worry, it's gonna get easier, because, you know, it's so hard right now. They're all young, and having 4 kids under 8 years old is
so how do you and Jamie do it?
You know, you really got to communicate well, and you need to plan, and you need to support each other all the time. I mean, those, you know, it sounds like just stuff you read in a book, but it really is the truth. I mean, and just, you know, patience. Patience is the biggest key, I think. You know, you just got to be patient with your kids, patient with each other, you know, and then it's also super important to have your alone time with have something, you know, with yourself and with just you and your spouse, your partner. You know, that's key as well.
Coming up next, so what does the future hold for Ken Cook? Will he follow perhaps in his mother's footsteps? His thoughts on running for the legislature next when Cruising with KUAM continues.
Presented by
Triple J Auto Group now offers customers the ability to get pre-approved instantly. Shop for the car of your dreams anytime, anywhere. Save time and apply online at carsguam.com.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.